But yeah, no, he showed me how to put on a condom. He taught me how to put on a condom when I was 18
explain that a little
years
more.
old. It was 2 years after this conversation. Me, my brother, my 2 sisters. He sat us all around. I was the oldest one. I was about to go to college, and I'm like, I don't need to know this. I already know this. And he got out a vacuum cleaner extension and put it between his legs. And then he tried to put a condom on, and he couldn't put it on. And I had to reach over and turn the condom over so it was the right way on and slide the condom on my dad's vacuum cleaner penis. So...
Hello and welcome to another episode of Grown Up Christian. I'm Casey.
I'm Sam.
I like to mix up my cadence a little bit, keep people on their toes.
It honestly sounded like you forgot what you were saying. I wasn't, because I've made that mistake with thinking, like when we record with a guest and I forget, like, we're back. You just kind of fuck it up sometimes. So I felt like maybe you were going in that direction, but you made a smooth recovery and you stuck the landing.
I sound like the vice president giving an impromptu speech.
The vice president.
Dude, okay, so right before we hit record, Sam was showing me his homemade porn video that he made of crickets.
Yeah, cricket porn. I made some cricket porn. Actual crickets, like the chirp chirp crickets. I feed them to my lizard, my bearded dragon to be specific. And that was the first time I've ever seen crickets fucking in the amount of time in the whole time I've owned a lizard. We because you normally when we feed it, you toss the crickets in the fridge for a little bit to really slow them down, torture them a good bit, and then you dump them in, and they just like shiver while they're slowly, all of them get eaten to death by a lizard.
You don't give the crickets a lot of yard time before you send them to the chair.
No, but they are they are not technically cage free, I guess, but we let them. They have a good life before they meet their maker.
Cricket terms.
It's So, but my bearded dragon, her name is Edie. That name comes from Big Edie and Little Edie from the Jurassic World animated series that I watched with my children. Big Edie and Little Edie were Tyrannosaurus Rexes. Also, Big Edie and Little Edie, I think, is a play on. It's supposed to also allude to the Grey Gardens characters. About like the people who are related to the Kennedys.
Dysfunction.
Yeah. No, it's like some old spinster recluses who are related to the Kennedys. Whatever. You can look that up.
I've heard of this thing. Like somebody I was listening to on a podcast, it might have been Matt and Shane the other day. They were talking about this documentary about these 2 old Kennedy ladies that live in a house.
It's awesome. I watched it like back when I was still at Liberty, or while I was early 20s. So it's been 13 years probably since I've seen it, 14 years, but it's good. It's old. It's old. I don't even know if it's even still on Netflix, but it's weird. It's weird. You're like, the Kennedys are just such a strange family. Too many weird people connected to them. Anyway, so maybe the T-Rex's name is supposed to allude to that too. So that way all the people like me who are watching that show with their kids can be like, oh yeah, just something to notice that your kids don't. Anyway, 2 crickets did not get eaten, and they went and found refuge in an empty food dish. And I believe that's when they decided, look, it's like when 2 virgins are on a crashing airplane and they're just like, should we just do this?
Like they found a little comfort and solace in the end, like with each other. It's like two young kids in a storm shelter in like Berlin awaiting the arrival of the Soviet troops.
Exactly like that.
It's like you bang one out before you pull a grenade and hold it to your chest.
So it's crazy though the way they do it. I'll probably just post a video on the story or whatever. But yeah, he go like the one on the bottom does all the work. So one is completely on top of the other. Like so, one cricket body fully under the other cricket body, and the little two like back in. They have like the two little like points that come out their abdomen there, and the one on the bottom does all the work. It just keeps like
a champ
poking up into the other one. It's pretty cool. The nature, the circle of life is beautiful. God's creation is truly lovely.
I do like the idea. Sometimes I think about the fact that like, or just how strange it would be if humans reproduced in the same way that like other creatures do.
Yeah,
like
violently like, and against their will.
like dolphins or ducks.
Or, oh wait, I almost spoiled it. Or like one of the trivia questions on
yes,
the upcoming
that,
episode
like, does come up.
Fuck.
No, but even like plants.
This is
like
the second. There's gonna be a lot of animal fucking conversations apparently on this episode of the podcast. So that was unintentional.
Imagine if your reproductive success like depended on you just like holding your seed outward in your hand, and you have to count on me to walk by, rub it against me, and then I transfer it to an awaiting female. I bump into that female trying to get a little nectar or something, and that's how a baby is made. How different would that be?
You'd probably have a lot more children.
Yeah, that's true.
More than zero. You know what? Do you remember being a kid watching like Discovery Channel and shit, and it's like shows you like whales and like just blowing their load into the ocean one after the other,
just gallons.
It is. And
gallons of that salty brine.
You're like 11 or 12, and you're trying not to like laugh your ass off while watching this because it's like. And I also remember watching
churning out Chobani.
It looks like someone just like dumped a vat of yogurt into the Atlantic.
You know, boy, okay. So has
wait, real quick.
Have you ever okay.
Because another thing, while we're on Discovery Channel and watching animals come, there was also I was watching a thing on like it was like Discovery or Animal Planet. It was like hunt for a giant squid. And they found one, but I mean, they found a large squid. It was probably like on like the head of it was probably like 4 feet, 5 feet. It was probably 4 feet, and the tentacles were real long. And it's like on this like cold slab, like steel slab in a lab. And the guy's like, it was clearly, it died in the during its mating time. And he just grabs one of the tentacles and just like a tube of toothpaste squeezes out all the cum. And he's just like. I'm like, what the fuck am I watching? I think that was the first. I had to have watched that before I was old enough to like have regular grown up cum if I was even coming at that point in my life. And it was like, I'm like, is that does cum universally look like that?
You're just
disgusting.
At the time, you're still making like just like tween penis tears.
Yeah, it's like still, it's basically pre-cum. You basically just have pre-cum for like 2 years of your life.
Have you ever ejected into the ocean whale style?
I didn't know. I haven't.
I did one time. Not by myself. It wasn't weird.
Oh yeah, you're not making it less
with
weird.
Assistance from just a nice lady that lives here. And
your mom just helping you out, showing you how it's done.
No, but okay, so when you do that, I mean, I'm sure it depends on your geographic region, but
and the temperature of the water, the pH level.
Show up and eat it.
No,
and that's not a lie. Okay, go test the theory out. But yeah, like minnows showed up. I just like was like chumming for sharks, you know.
Oh my god, that's incredible. Yeah,
trying to get that Gert.
We can honestly say that we had no intention of. We didn't know where we were going when we started this. all we had was that video of my crickets fucking, and this is where we ended up. So,
all right, I have to go apologize to my wife now.
Yeah, she's gonna be mad at you for saying that. She's gonna hate that you told that story, but I feel like a better person because of it.
She's a great lady.
Great. You sound like you're from like the 1950s when you talk like that about your wife.
Well, she's a dandy.
Dandy. A dandy now is like a very it's like a male that seems gay but isn't, or something like that. It's like very,
I suppose.
Anyway, whatever.
Bit of a dandy.
Anyway, we have we're cutting this intro a little short because we got a slightly longer one for you guys today, but it's all worth it because we had on Casey Grimm and Adam McLaughlin. They are a lovely comedy duo from Buffalo, New York. They have a podcast called A Couple of Nerds. It's a trivia podcast. These people are trivia junkies. They also host weekly trivia competitions at a brewery in Buffalo. They're working on getting some more weekly and bi-weekly trivia shows
host
going.
One at like a weed shop too.
Yeah, that's right. They have the one at the weed shop, the one at the brewery. They'll talk about it at the end of the episode. They also and they come up. Adam comes up with all the trivia questions. I don't know if we've talked about
trivia in the loosest sense of the word. There's not a lot of rules to it. No, which makes it way more fun.
And you get points for, funny answers. Maybe you get points for wrong answers that are better than the actual answers. It's like fun fucking trivia. It's not this Geeks Who Drink bullshit where they just ask you the lamest questions. Like I've done Geeks Who Drink theme nights where it's like, I know a lot about the theme that they're going to talk about. And they're like, what color was so-and-so's shirt when they were on the bus towards the end of the movie? And you're like,
who produced the sound on episode 131 of Seinfeld, The Little Kicks?
Yeah, Geeks Who Drink is bullshit. These people are hilarious.
Do you want a trivia question?
Yeah, give me a trivia question. One of your trivia questions on this episode should have been, what happens after you come into the ocean?
I can't top. Yeah, you know what? On second thought, I can't top that.
All right. So we'll but anyway, Casey and Adam were fucking hilarious. They were so much fun. As I said last week, this was as far as I can remember, this is one of the funnest episodes we recorded. I thought it was just an absolute blast goofing around with them for an hour and a half.
Yeah. Best. Very, very good time. You guys are going to enjoy it. So check out their show, A Couple of Nerds. It's just like it sounds, only Nerds has a 3 instead of an E. And
nerds.
They got
nerdy.
A whole bunch of cool guests. Amy
Miller. Yeah, that's
Amy
how I
Miller
found them. They had Amy Miller on the podcast. And she posted about it. And I was like, oh, I should check this out. And very glad I did. Shout out Amy for doing their podcast and being a real one too, who I'm going to see in Vermont next week. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. So enjoy our conversation with A Couple of Nerds.
Hey everybody, we are back with our guests, a guest duo today, Casey Grimm and Adam McLaughlin. Did I say that right?
Yeah. It's pronounced duo.
Yes.
Otherwise known as the Buffalo Comedy Power Couple, right?
Oh, yeah, that sounds fun. Yeah. Yes, that.
It sounds sexier.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys, so I found your podcast through the lovely and wonderful Amy Miller, and you guys love your trivia. So I pulled just a couple just to get things going. A couple of great some trivia. These are the same ones that I pulled a couple weeks ago when we first tried. So maybe this isn't super fresh anymore, but there are some news stories that I was particularly fond of. So we're gonna roll with it.
Who's been indicted 400 times?
I think that's Jessica Body Ventura.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Former governor.
Crappy Doo was a tough pickle. Yeah.
Crappy Doo. So the first one was recently a Chinese zoo had to be forced to deny claims of what?
Was it selling the animals for food?
Oh, that would be so fucking fun. I wish. It wasn't, but that also feels like something. They have like a real good deal with the local wet market. Is that what you were?
Yeah, I read so many articles that there's at least one zoo that claims that they were selling meat.
That's probably a different zoo.
Yeah, somewhere in the world. I'll put the money on it.
Dude, I love the idea of a zoo being run like a clout house, where it's like, hey, you got to get your numbers up, Wallaby, or you're out. You're into the zoo. Out of the zoo.
They gotta get the funding. Did you hear the story that Mike Tyson once tried to pay $10,000 to box a silverback gorilla at a New York
way.
Zoo? Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's a real fucking. That's real.
That's real. He didn't. They wouldn't let him do it. It would have killed him.
It would have literally punched his head off. That would be insane. A chimpanzee, I think a chimp can like rip human arms off, and those are way smaller than gorillas.
They can I've seen video of chimps like pulling skin just down off the face.
Yeah, you've watched the video. That's pretty cool.
They go for
Mike Tyson's walking CTE now. I mean, that guy's fucked.
Yeah, he's got some problems. He's doing good.
He's doing his best. You know, he's microdosing. He's gonna just make it through the day.
He's doing a lot of marijuana, doing a lot of mushrooms, trying to stay.
He's not gonna kill anybody.
He's
not gonna kill anybody.
No more ears. I think that's what he tells himself every day.
Every day, he's in constant therapy. It's like when someone's trying to like kick any habit. It's just like his ears. He nibbles them all the time, and if he every day where he doesn't nibble an ear is just a victory. It's tough with sexual partners.
It just makes me I think I cracked, like, because they say like we don't know the full story of why he bit off that dude's ear. No, you're right. I think he likes to nibble on ears, but usually it's gentle. It's like a little intimate, like, I'm having fun boxing with you, like that kind of thing. And so he like reached around to do the nibble, and that guy like accidentally hit him and timing and then boom, he rips off the ear. But for publicity, they were like, no, you have to act like this was the plan the whole time.
They tell people we're kissing in the middle of the ring.
Oh my God, no,
you gotta make it tough.
It's like sneezing in the middle of opening a Sunny D. You just like
Sunny D.
Oh man,
Capri Sun.
Oh, man. Botch. That's a botch joke.
Speaking of Mike Tyson with the ear thing, did you hear he has a line of edibles out now? He just announced it. They're called Mike Bites, and they're all in the shape of a little ear with a bite taken out of them. Marijuana edibles. Nice.
Shut that up.
Yeah.
I need those.
I hope Evander's getting some royalties out of that. So what was the answer, Sam?
They had to deny claims that the bear they had was actually a human in a bear costume.
Damn it!
Oh my God, that's right.
I forgot about that stupid.
I don't want to be here anymore.
Have you guys watched the video for it?
Yeah,
hilarious.
It's like Hank Hill.
Yeah. It looks like the bear shit its pants.
He's doing that walk to the toilet paper roll.
Yeah.
It's hilarious because there's a sun bear, right?
Yeah, a sun bear.
They're like notoriously ill-tempered, apparently.
They're small, and it is funny. I mean, I wouldn't put it past some zoos to do all sorts of weird things, especially in light of the fact that other Chinese zoos have been accused of misleading people with and the pictures for these are funny as shit too. So everyone should Google them. Allegations including dyeing dogs to look like wolves or African cats. And the best one, though, and the pictures are readily available, is painting stripes on a donkey to make it look like a zebra.
There's nothing wrong with that. We've all been in a pinch.
That's just called a performance art piece. I don't think there's anything wrong with getting creative.
All the stripes that they paint on it looks like when like a woman ugly cries with a lot of mascara on. By the end of the day, the stripes are just like dripping off and shit.
Maybe that's the type of animal it is.
I don't know. I want one of these donkey zebras now.
That's just your type, though. You like it with
trash.
Yeah.
Like
Wait, trash? I thought it was just like horribly depressed, like to the point they stopped washing off the makeup and then it's just dripping down.
But then it's a recently divorced donkey.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, being that you guys are into like nerdy things, do you remember a movie called The Beastmaster?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen that at all recently?
But probably less than a year ago.
Isn't that the one with the guy who has the bird?
The two ferret, the two mongoose, and the tiger they spray painted black.
Dude, they painted a tiger.
Awful.
It's so much worse in high definition.
Oh God!
It's like that's just house paint. It's just house paint on this poor animal.
Yeah, you could buy it when it was just like your grandma's like VHS like recorded copy, like the VHS that she's recorded over 68 times. So it's just fuzz.
When you're watching it in a TV that's encased in a giant 8x8 wooden box.
Yeah, you're spending more time looking at the box than the TV. It's so
Those
beautiful.
are nice. They were beautiful pieces of furniture. I think it's a shame that we don't make furniture just to place our TVs in. The problem is we just make our TVs too goddamn big now. You know?
Yes.
That's the problem.
The TV aesthetic is something that hurts me because I want to live in a house that looks like every scene in Clue. And Clue, you can't have a giant, horrible fucking robot screen right there. Like, you need to think that I'm reading books all day. Of course I'm not reading books all day. That's a lot of time I don't have. But
I think we need a modern Clue. That's what you're just saying.
No,
we need a more modern Clue where there's
modernized
a Clue. Unopened mail. Like, here's my bunker of food for the apocalypse. My chemical toilets in there. Stuff like that. Like modern 2023 Clue.
But then will the aesthetic of the rest of the house be ruined for the modern? I don't want this.
It's a very small.
Like a very small apartment. Yeah. It's a loft studio loft.
Yep.
What is what is like what's trademark what's a trademark grandma, like, well, I shouldn't say trademark, it doesn't have to be universal, but like I feel like everyone has that thing where like you walk into grandma's house and there's just something immediately about it, whether maybe she's a hoarder, maybe she has a lot of grandmas had collections. Was there anything that immediately apparent where you're like, that's my fucking grandma's house?
I got one.
Go for it.
Candy dishes full of candy that you are not allowed to touch.
Mm-hmm.
You don't touch the Werther's Originals.
Yeah,
that's the Werther's Originals, man.
Andy's Mints from 1982.
Yeah.
And nobody's eating them. They're going to waste, but you're not allowed to eat them, you little pig. Like,
Mine would be a border. That's like one decorating trend that's never coming back, is like the 1 foot border that circles the room, and it's just a recurring pattern of like chickens or vines or a farm scene.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then the super yellow oak furniture that your grandparents are convinced is heirloom
furniture
stuff. My grandpa would look at the table and be like that table lasts forever. That's good oak. So my wife and I, every time we look at furniture, we're like, that's good oak.
It's like not even really oak. It's the yellow is just, they bought it secondhand and it's like cigarette smoke stained.
Yeah. It's oak laminate over banana cartons.
I think for my grandparents, the two things I remember are similar to the candy. They had this really fancy little glass dish full of random pink and red little wax scented things that looked like candy. And it was just weird because you would open it and it smelled super floral and you're like, okay, so then you close it and then not like, why is this here? You just, it's like holding in a, like, it's like a flower fart. Yeah, but it's like bottled up. They don't open it or anything. So you're like, and like, I'm not gonna be a dick, but also like, I come from people that smell weird. So, and I'm one of them, you know? So I'm just saying, like, open the lid once in a while. Like, why is it there, you know?
Yeah, and why do I have to smell like egg salad all the time?
Yeah, exactly. That's, you get it. Tradition. Lots of pickled eggs in my family. I'm like, in that case, floral it up. Like, just stink it up with flowers. And then the other one, speaking of floral, was she had those velvety floral couches, you know?
Yes.
Just like flower, flower, flower in your face.
Yeah.
And somehow sad flowers.
Indestructible couch.
Yes.
A couch that will like it's just gonna, like, after the nuclear apocalypse, it's just gonna be cockroaches watching like MASH reruns on a floral couch.
Orange floral couches, brown and orange.
That's it. I actually had one recently. I just recently got rid of one because it was time for a change, but I found it free on Facebook Marketplace, and I think that has been in the same family I got it from. It was like, one was like, yeah, my grandmother had this couch. Like, gee, this is a lot of people have farted in this couch that I'm about to put in my basement. That's crazy.
Yeah.
History of farts.
Yeah, the guy who gave it to you, he came out there and just like touched it and went, "That's some good oak."
Yeah. My grandma, the classic wrapping the couch in anything not couch. It's like you should throw a sheet over it, a blanket. Like you never. To this day, I don't know exactly what the couch looked like. I never saw it not covered with a blue sheet. And the other one, she had like this giant like frame of like, it was like had all the little wooden panes in it, and it was like just full of porcelain knickknacks.
Yeah.
That's
the type drawer.
Yeah.
Yes, we have a couple of those around our house.
Oh,
my grandma never collected anything, but my grandpa did. My grandpa collected two things: model airplanes and Playboy magazine. He had a stack of Playboy magazine literally as tall as I was when I was 10 years old. Because it was around 10 where I finally reached at the top. I'm like, oh my God. They were just a huge stack of Playboy magazines right outside the bathroom.
You freaking Catholics.
Yeah.
Right? I know. Because when I found them, you know who got in trouble? Me. I got in trouble. But they were literally stacked next to the bathroom like some weirdo.
Yeah. Like
man, right next to the bathroom.
Like it's Reader's Digest.
Draw
I'm surprised you could even separate the pages.
Like, do you think your grandpa did he go back and forth between Playboy and video poker while taking a dump, or?
This was before video poker. I guarantee. Here's what happened. My grandfather got a subscription to Playboy magazine, and then literally read the articles. And when he was done, he put them on the stack. And his wife was like, "You've got to get rid of those." And that became the fight. And so he just kept, because he was not a pervy man. My dad now, he was a perv, but my grandfather.
Wouldn't it be so funny if you saw the Playboy and you got pumped and you opened it and all the nudes were cut out and it was just the articles left?
Cut out pictures of clothes from another magazine.
You're like so pumped and you're just like, well, I guess I'll read this Howard Stern interview.
You know, I'd have to respect him. I probably would read the magazine. I'd be like, this is great, actually. It's not as distracting.
All that's left is this Jerry Falwell interview. What the? All right, I have another trivia question for you. And this one is going to knock your socks off. All right. A Florida aquarium blames a manatee's death on what?
Oh, I know this one.
You do?
I'm pretty sure.
Can I guess first?
Uh-huh.
A tampon.
No.
Got the water, expands.
That's a great guess, though.
Because
it expands in the nose and blocks the airways. I love that. That's a good guess.
That's definitely killed a manatee before.
Yeah.
Absolutely. In the ocean or something. Yeah, for sure. Because that's where they live.
In Florida, too.
Yes. While they were having massive orgies, they were also getting tampons in there. Yep.
But that's the thing. There have been a series of massive manatee orgies in Florida. And for some reason, manatees are really horny. The ones you're talking about, the brother manatee fucked his brother to death.
Yes.
Consensually, and they had a relationship for decades. They've been doing this for a long time. They were in love. It's beautiful.
Were they both wearing Tommy Bahama shirts?
Well, yeah, but that's just the thing. That's how manatees dress. That's why you don't notice them at the Jimmy Buffett shows usually.
Plenty of manatees there.
It's just a manatee with a top hat and a trench coat.
Just look for the mustache. You see a guy with a real big mustache.
That's so good,
dude. Is that true? Is that what happened?
It pierced its colon, and it slowly. Oh. And they noticed after it had like started getting lethargic, it was like,
Mr. But they were Hands like, manatee edition.
They would, like you said, it was consensual. They had no. They were just like, yeah.
Can you kill someone anally, consensually?
Yes, they have been doing it for hours. The manatees have been doing it a really long time.
So it lasted longer than 4 hours, and they didn't consult a veterinarian.
That's what they're like, is he stuck in there? It said Hugh the manatee died from a 14.5 centimeter rip in his colon caused by a sexual encounter with a manatee named Buffet, and who happens to also be his brother. Yeah. Which honestly, they weren't even allowed to talk about this in Florida because of the "Don't Say Gay" bill and shit. They had just had to like keep it quiet.
They had to just the article was just like Buffet went to be with our Lord and Savior.
Yeah,
that was all they could print.
There were 4 kids who were suspended from school just for talking about it in the hallways.
Just for mentioning the manatee. You want to go to a buffet after this? Get out.
Yeah.
You're going to DeSantis jail.
All the pudding you can eat.
Oh, that's it. That's all the trivia I got. I mean, I just came in with those 2. You guys roll through your trivia a little faster than we do, but you guys got questions to get through.
To be fair, I don't contribute anything to the trivia. I'm just there getting angry. So
angry at your guests for being wrong all the time?
Oh, no. Angry at myself for not winning because he tells me all this trivia and in my brain I'm just like blah blah blah, so I don't hear him.
The real premise of our show is that we've been together for like 13 years now. And when I look up these trivia questions, I tell them to my wife. We're sitting on the couch. Sometimes we're watching TV. Sometimes we're having a joint. Sometimes it's dinner. But I'll be like, hey, did you hear about the manatee that fucked his brother to death? And she'll be like, oh, that's great. And then a week later, I'll bring it up on the TV show or on the podcast, and she will not remember at all. So we pit her against other people, and they always beat her. But she has all the inside knowledge. She just has to listen. It's like the Slumdog Millionaire happened, but he wasn't paying any attention the entire fucking day.
That's me. That is true. That's actually way too realistic. I miss out on every single opportunity that is hinted towards me because I'm just like, whatever. It's not what's happening in my brain right now. And what's happening in my brain? The theme song to Passions. That's right.
Passions?
I fucking love Passions.
You're gonna have to.
What is Passions?
What is this?
Shut up! Oh my god. Okay.
Well, tell them what year it's from.
We're good Christian boys. We don't watch smut like this. I feel like that you're gonna talk to us about
our parents
smut.
didn't make furniture out of pornography.
Honestly, you're probably right. This is probably too racy for your childhoods, but this is from like 1999, 2000 is when it started. And it's a show about there's like a witch.
It's a soap opera.
It's a soap opera.
It's a daytime soap opera.
But it's a witch because they're trying to do what Buffy did, but like daytime appropriate. So there's a witch with a doll, and the doll is a talking doll. And they're going after this family that is connected to God, and God sends his angel down to help the family escape the witch. It's not selling it because it shouldn't be sold.
Here's
He's like, I'm looking at their faces, total bewilderment.
It's like every other soap opera in the world, except instead of them being like, hey, let's talk about our relationship, it's like, no, I'm suddenly a witch now. Also, I have magic powers. And our neighbor, well, she's a demon. And then it goes right back to being a soap opera. And then suddenly it's like, oh, by the way, there's a witch inside your computer that's trying to attack you. And that doll's alive and trying to kill you. Also, there's a prom. And then it's like, it's horrible.
It's so good.
It's great. You can watch it on YouTube.
The show is like, it tries to use things that were hot in the year that it came out. So like one scene, they're doing Carrie. Like there's a whole Carrie bit where the main girl who's now God's favorite little lady, she just has these moments where she'll just glare at people and you're supposed to be all like, oh, zap, she's gonna zap. Like, it's, I'm not saying you should watch it. I'm just saying that's what it has.
Princess Diana was really big. So they based one of the characters on Princess Diana and talked all about how she's just like Princess Diana, but then Princess Diana died during the filming of the show.
No, you're wrong.
Meryl Qualms.
Than that. Because Diana had died when the show came out. And so the very first episode, Diana was dead. And the big connection was supposed to be that the American girl who looks like Diana was also besties with Princess Diana. And she lived in Paris.
Yeah, and it was horrible. It was horrible.
Oh my word. They just like wrote her into their terrible plot.
Yes!
Murder. Like 3 days after her murder.
And very casually so
heavy-handed. So heavy-handed. There's one scene where the American girl who's supposed to be Diana walks down the street and a Parisian sees her and goes, who is that? She looks like a princess. And you're just like, what are you doing? And then a few minutes later, someone else is like, she's like Princess Diana. And you're like, what? Don't do this. Don't talk like this.
Well, that sounds like a incredible show. The only thing with angels in it I watched was Occasionally Touched by an Angel. Also, the name of a show that would definitely not make it through the testing now.
No.
Not a great one. So Adam, you're the trivia man. You're finding all the questions. That's a lot. I struggle to find two. So respect for doing that weekly.
Oh, well, thank you.
You guys also host like a trivia thing too, right? What you do a live show every week? What's that?
So we have a live show at a brewery every week, and then we have a live show at a cannabis lounge every other week.
Damn.
And the brewery one, it's like super intense and really, really silly. Everyone gets into it because the right answer gets you points, but stupid answers, funny answers, and doodles get you points as well. So a lot of people come in and do like inside jokes and like make bits out of it and get really into it.
Draw penises on their cards.
Lots
usually.
Of
penis drawings. You get points for those.
I think it's delightful. It's always fun.
That's so fun. That's so much better than is it Geeks Who Drink is like the mass market trivia, which is honestly trash. And usually the people who host it are insufferable.
Thank you.
Yeah, and they're getting paid very little to do it, and it's just mass questions. Whereas we do questions usually specifically for the venues.
Yes.
Like the questions we give to the marijuana club are usually a lot easier and more straightforward than the ones that we would do with the drunk crowds.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons, like we really streamline it.
And the whole formula is different. Like at the brewery, we're more like you can kind of make fun of each other. Where at the pot lounge, you're like, hey, you guys are doing great. And no one's mad. I can't tell you're high. I can't even see it. I know you're smoking right now in front of me. I don't even see it.
There's a lot of reminding them that it's not a test.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
So
we're having fun.
It's okay.
You can they have establishments where people can just smoke in Buffalo.
Yeah. Yes, and it's officially legal in New York, and so the place we go to is in Cheektowaga. But yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in Massachusetts. I mean, it's legal recreationally. You can just pop into a store and buy it. It's but I don't think there's any places where you can go and then smoke and then leave.
Right.
Without a cop planting themselves out at just handing out DUIs before you turn the key and they're like, here you go. They already have your license plates written down.
Yeah, right.
All you gotta do though is not smoke for like an hour and then you're back to normal. That's because I was thinking the same thing. I get paranoid every time we leave. Well, I mean, I'm paranoid anyway because I'm at the club, but and I usually stop smoking like an hour before we leave, so that way I'm all like sobered up. And I really worry about it, but then I'm like, wait a minute, every bar in the world, like, people drive and you cannot sober up in an hour. There's no way, at least not the way I usually do.
No.
Like,
no. God.
Yeah,
no.
it takes a day or two.
And anyone who's like, oh, I should probably wait another hour before I go, it's like, you're still going to be wasted. But you're still going to be wasted. Well, I'll play this game where we pretend like that'll be fine and we won't talk about it tomorrow.
Exactly.
Yeah, somebody got busted right in front of my house last week. I live out in the middle of nowhere too.
Pretty wild happenstance because you're in the middle of nowhere. The fact that happened in front of your house is crazy.
Dude, the amount of like empty liquor bottles that I find along the road, like on my little stretch of road there, is insane. I think somebody or maybe several somebodies drives drunk all the time. And
probably just one guy, old man, ornery old man drinks a whole bottle of Jack every day.
He's drinking out of like a fifth, just pounding it, plastic bottle stuff.
But DUIs are no joke. I was in my hometown. I'm from a tiny town, and I was there once at the only bar downtown, and I watched a woman get a DUI on a snowmobile. Because the cop was at the bar too, and the cop was like, "Hey, you're drunk. Don't get on that snowmobile. I have to give you a ticket." And she's like, "Fuck you can't give a ticket for a snowmobile." And he's like, "No, you really can. Any vehicle, you can get a DUI. Don't you tell me what to do." And then I watched her get arrested. I'm like, "Oh, poor Anna."
And then she peed her snowsuit.
What about bicycles? Or electric bicycle? Where do they draw the line? That's what I want to know.
I think I don't think it matters what vehicle. It matters how drunk. Yeah. Because I know for a fact I could have been arrested while riding a bicycle on several occasions.
Because then you're just drunk in public, and that's generally
and you're also hitting people with a bicycle because you're drunk off your ass.
Dude, that's how it works. A vehicle, you're encased, so you get a DUI, and as soon as the gray area is Jeeps with the tops off or convertibles, you're like, are you also drunk in public?
See, that's the thing. If you hit something with your car, you want to be thrown. You want to be thrown from the vehicle.
Get it over with.
No points on the license.
Right, and then you put the person you hit behind the driver's seat, and you lay under the car, and you call 911.
Now you're thinking like a capital.
Dude, okay, let's say you're drunk. You have 5 miles to go. In a purely hypothetical circumstance, you can pick any mode of transportation you want. What do you feel most comfortable on getting from point A to point B?
Helicopter.
That's the worst answer.
Don't hang out with him.
You said any vehicle I want, and I think being that drunk in only 5 miles, I could probably figure it out.
That's terrifying. Terrifying. Oh God.
Not only are you going to crash, you're going to mulch so many pedestrians.
You're taking so many people out with you.
If I could have it my way, I think it would be like a scooter. I think the scooter and I have the perfect relationship to travel safely when I'm wasted. Like just a low scooter. Maybe a
I've
razor
seen a lot of
scooter.
videos of people who believe that to be true.
You're talking motorless scooter, not one of those fun city ones.
No. If I'm gonna hurt myself, I'll do it sober, thanks.
I do a tandem bicycle because I don't want to be alone.
But solo? Just solo on a tandem bike?
Get on the back. Whoever's with me, let's do this.
If I'm getting hurt, we're both getting hurt. Here we go.
I'm going to say a radio flyer filled with my puke and urine.
There you go.
Specifically.
Is this before or after you get in?
Yeah, like specifically full of puke and urine. Was it prepped in advance?
I want to do it on the way so it's warm.
Oh, okay. It's a collection. I see.
I don't want to get into a tepid pool of puke and urine. I want it to
I mean, that's what I was worried about. That's what I was worried about.
It's like a frog in a boiling pot, in a hot pot. It's like if it cools down on the way while I'm in it, then I won't notice.
Yeah, it'll be refreshing if anything.
It's
just
you're
horchata.
You're gonna have to think about what you eat. You don't want it to be too acidic. No orange juice, because then even while it cools, you're gonna get a spicy bottom.
That is true. What's the worst thing you've ever puked up?
Ooh,
man, I really block, but I'm puking.
I've got one. So, I was just newly pregnant and barfing all the time. And at one point, but I'm also super hungry and craving stuff. So at one point I'm like, okay, I really want scrambled eggs with spinach and feta. And I tell Adam, and Adam's like, are you sure? You've been puking a lot. And I'm like, yeah, but I can tell, like, I want it so badly. It's probably going to make me feel better. And it didn't. And I threw up some very sharp cheese. And yeah, the textures weren't great. And it took about 2.5 years for me to eat feta or eggs again.
Oh, yeah.
So
that's a bad one.
There you go.
I could say, just for being a parent, cleaning up hot dog barf is a nightmare. Hot dog barf. My daughter threw up hot dogs, and it's been almost 2 years since she's had one. She's like, nope, still will not touch them. Which it's like a hot dog is supposed to be your favorite food.
No, but because I have a core memory of that too, of just seeing the hot dog chunks that were in your stomach, and then it's over. I don't want to eat hot dogs ever again.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's kind of like opening a package of packing peanuts and then just having to get them all back in. I definitely did spicy chili at some point, which was rough. It was very hot the second time. Or a Monster, like an energy drink coming back up.
Those smell like vomit going down.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Yeah,
double vomit. I don't even know.
I once, for some reason, I don't know. We were probably really high, but I ate a lot of meatballs. We got a pizza with meatballs on it, and I only ate the meatballs, and it did not feel good at all. I probably should have eaten any of that fucking pizza. Anyway, the point is, middle of the night, I woke up and I threw up, and it was just a solid log of meatballs that came out, and it was the worst because it wasn't
Extreme Pizza in San Rafael.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
It was horrible. It was horrible. Like, to the point I woke Casey up. I was just like, this makes no sense.
You're just firing off a meat torpedo in the bathroom.
Yeah. It was like I was pooping out of my mouth.
You made a hot dog.
Yeah.
I do have to say, though, that I did a poll because Adam and I had argued about this for years, because in my early 20s, I would get the flu and throw up and stuff, and we lived together. And every time I threw up, I'd go in the kitchen and make a giant bowl of spaghetti. And he was like, what are you doing?
We're going to have to edit this
and
out.
I was
I'm sorry.
like, well, I love spaghetti. And so I really want to eat it. But also, I don't want to get the carbs. And when you throw it up, it's just like a more acidic tomato sauce. So it's just like you're throwing up spicier spaghetti.
The way you explained it was, if I'm going to throw up, I'd rather be throwing up spaghetti. Plus, this way I get to eat spaghetti. I'm like, most people don't want to eat anything when they have the flu.
Yeah, that's like,
it's so strangely relatable. Like, I can follow your train of logic there. And I'm like, oh yeah, I got that straight in me.
It's one step removed from an eating disorder. It's like eating disorder adjacent. You're like, the will is there. Like, the appeal of it is certainly there. I get. It's like I think before we hit record, we discussed the tapeworm diet, and it's or malaria, contracting malaria to look good for beach season, and we're back here because it makes some sense.
Yeah. I mean,
if I'm going to be throwing up, let me just eat all the food that I'm supposed to avoid, because it's like not eating it anyway.
I'll just preface with, like, I grew up with a total almond mom. Like, they kept like a book on a table where I would write down what I ate during the day so they could track how much I was eating.
Holy shit.
So I am straight up from eating disorder territory. But at the same time, like, it's something that was so ingrained in, like, millennials, I think, too, like young women. Like, we were very much taught, like, are you hungry? No, you're not. Wait longer, you know? And so I would 100% discourage my child from this logic, and I would pretend I don't think it, but I absolutely think about, like, I'm gonna throw up later. How about ice cream? That's like barfing a warm chocolate shake. Let's do it.
Well, actually, if you're gonna throw something up, I mean, ice cream's probably the way to go.
Ice cream comes up the way it goes down. It's a great food for that, actually.
What you call barfing, I call free calories.
See,
man.
Oh man, 13-year-old me would have been like, you hacked it.
Yeah.
You hacked it.
So that's like
I
the
feel
equivalent
like it sounds
of the
like I'm
parents
encouraging
who, like,
disorders.
they like send their kids to soccer camp for the entire summer. Like, you just did that, but with eating disorders, basically. It was like an eating disorders intensive.
Well, yeah, like, remember how openly people would say, like, fat camp, where it was like, ew, gross, because you're fat, you gotta go to a camp, where it's like, oh my god, like a fitness, like a health and fitness camp, or like a outdoor activity camp. Like,
heavyweights.
Yes. I was going to say, we can't knock the whole fat camp thing too much, because it did give us one of the greatest movies of all time. So it was all those people who lost their lives to pave the way for that movie.
So many chubby little bodies.
I'm not saying it was worth it. I'm just saying thank you for your sacrifice.
Good job. You covered both ends of that spectrum there, so well done.
Thank you.
I feel like every few months I have to watch that clip of Ben Stiller from Heavyweights, where he's like, all the kids are weighing in and they're all heavier than when they came, and he's freaking out, and he like turns his back and he's like, how you doing, little Tony? He's like, bad. It's the funniest clip.
Now we have to watch Heavyweights again.
I know. Now I'm like, damn, I missed that scene. It's a good one.
I rewatched it last summer, and it, God, holds up. I hadn't really sat and watched it for quite some time, but it was like a bunch of people having a movie night. We picked that, and it is a fantastic movie. I can see why it might not be some people's favorite now, but I think it holds up quite well.
Well, I think it's one of those weird things too, where, you know, when we do a satire that's supposed to, like, make fun of something toxic, people can see that as somehow encouraging toxicity, because what if you think this character's cool? So then do you think it's a good idea? But also at the same time, we need this kind of content out there because it validates kids who are going through that shit. Like,
yeah,
that's the thing. The whole thing is, the premise is really fucked up. It's not the movie's fault.
No.
Because it's reality.
Yeah. Reality bred the premise.
And they forced children to go to fat camps and then wondered why they were depressed. Like, yeah. Is it like, sorry, honey, you need to go to ugly camp this summer. Garrison Dum Dum camp.
Now we're talking about the Princess Diaries.
There was an episode of Hey Arnold where Harold the bully goes to it was like a cruise for fat kids, and he comes back even fatter, and it's like the cruise was like all they had was salads and stuff, and he comes back fatter, and no one wants to say anything about it because they're all like, what happened? But they don't want to ask, and then he has like a breakdown at the end. He's like, and then I was so stressed out about losing weight and all I had was salad, but I just kept eating it and eating it and eating it. It's like I was like, oh my god. But that's funny too, because it's like the exact, like, to send a kid to that and then be like, it's time to lose weight, and to stress a kid out. So that way they know when people come back, it's like, if you don't look different, it's going to be you're going to have to answer some questions that you.
Yeah.
There's no good outcome
It's
in
awful.
this situation. Either you come back fatter, the same, or you lose the weight, and either you've developed an eating disorder and you have body dysmorphia, or you boomerang right back to eating fatter than you were, because nobody's screaming at you for eating eggs anymore. So,
Yeah, no one woke you up at 5 a.m. to do push-ups.
Yeah.
Before school.
Exactly.
It's weird.
Exactly.
You can definitely berate people into changing their habits and lifestyle.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Speaking of Christianity.
that's all how you do it.
Absolutely. I find that when my parents got rid of their religion, specifically my mom, because she was raised very, very Catholic, it was almost like she had to replace that with focusing on my weight and like my body, so that she could be like, there, I can still hammer on what a failure you are and how disappointed I am, but I'm not using God, so it's different. I'm doing better.
No more God.
Like, you suck and you ruined my life, but that's not God's fault. That's your fault.
Strong uplifting message.
Did your mom ever did she ever do Atkins?
Oh my God. That's what she had me on. She wanted me in ketosis constantly. She had me like peeing on those sticks to check and be like, oh, not yet. Gotta keep doing it. Like, yeah, they were obsessed with Atkins.
Oh, dude, that was the heyday for Atkins.
Yeah.
Because I definitely did that in high school too, which, oh my God, I would love to look like I did in high school. But I was literally like going through the drive-thru as a senior in high school, getting like 8 sides of McDonald's bacon to lose weight, you know.
You gotta think of your health.
That it's true. I had friends who would do it, and they would go and order they'd get like McDoubles with no bun, and you're like, what? I mean, what are we doing?
Yeah.
I feel weird eating here with you now. I don't.
So now you've made this horrible poison unpleasant on top of everything else. Like, why don't you just eat dog shit?
Their patties aren't that good. The saltiness of the patties is counteracted by the heaps of sugar in the buns, man.
Yeah, like, you really need the whole thing together to make it food. One part of any fast food on its own is very questionable.
Yeah, the bun acts as like a natural Tums. it's literally like a turd patty between 2 Tums tablets. That's what makes it palatable.
The bun works its way around there. It's a protective shell to get the processed goo through your body.
You remove the Tums, and all of a sudden you're making hot dogs later.
It only works if you swallow it whole, though. Like, you can't mess with the pat. It has to go down the way that it was constructed.
That's right.
See, that's the thing that I want to throw up, because it would come up exactly the same. There'd be no difference. McDonald's hamburger.
Oh, gross.
Okay. So, what did your parents have? I was talking about this with somebody the other day, but did your parents have any like weird habits that they were like religious about? Because my parents would go through McDonald's and get 6 supersized Diet Cokes with no ice. And that was 98% of the liquid that they drank.
Oh my God.
for like 15 years. So all this crap about aspartame killing you, I mean, I don't believe it, because I mean, my parents should be dead.
6? And that they would drink them throughout the day, even if they must lose carbonation at that point.
You have to get no ice, or else they get watered down. Hence the no ice. So yeah, you drink one, you put the other 2 in the fridge so that you can you can ration your Diet Cokes throughout the day.
The whole day. Unbelievable. That is cool.
I got a crazy life hack. It's called a 2-liter.
Yeah. That McDonald's fountain drinks, man, they just hit different.
They do taste different. They taste 100% different.
It's like compare it to the are you drinking a Budweiser or are you drinking like a craft beer, right? McDonald's fountain drinks is the craft beer of soda. I'll stand by that.
I think
that's fair.
I think canned is paramount, but then yes, a fast food. Food.
You're blowing my mind right now with the coming in with the cans.
Oh, can over bottle all day.
No, but not 2-liter. I feel like if you're working off of like a 60 or a 20, whatever, the 20 ounce, I feel like a 20 ounce bottle of soda always hits better than any other kind of soda.
Crazy. I got to open that can and put it on ice. There you go. Now it's nice.
The ice helps because canned soda is more, I feel like it's more heavily carbonated when you crack it. So the ice kind of like dulls that down, but drinking it out of the can is a no-go for me, unless it's real cold.
That's fair.
I have to be real thirsty, but it's only because like I started watching TikTok because I'm an idiot. And so now
we all are. We're all idiots here.
Yeah.
Okay, well, for some reason, I'm on a chain of TikToks where they go into gas stations and convenience stores and they do swabs of the cans. You shouldn't drink out of the can. You shouldn't drink out of the can. And you know the thing?
What's on
the thing that they say? It's not because the can gets dirty. It's because the air filtration system in the refrigerators has never been cleaned. So it's just pushing bacteria all over the place.
That's gross.
I've ruined your lives.
What's on them? What are they showing is on them?
The air filtration system's directly next to the toilet, and that's the problem.
Well, the air filtration system is like it's the same as the ice system in fast food restaurants. If you don't clean it, it ends up having stagnant water, and then the stagnant water, all you got to do is get a little bit of bacteria in it, and then it's like heaven. They love it.
See, this is why I say I am a very neat person. I'm not a clean person. I can't be bothered with this bacteria stuff.
Yeah. That's why he didn't believe in COVID. He was just like, this doesn't work for my lifestyle.
Dirty.
This fact is inconvenient to me, and it does not exist.
Oh my God. Casey, did your parents well, you said mom. Parents, mom?
Parents, both of them. Yeah.
Did they give up religion when you were a kid? Were you born into religion? They gave it up and you have a memory of that? Or did they give it up prior and they just held on to the legalism and insanity?
They gave it up prior, but they hadn't yet given up utilizing their family for babysitting so that they could travel.
So you got baptized. I get. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I was around. Yep. I was around Catholicism. I was around a little Mormonism too. I went to a lot of random religious daycares because my parents were very much like anywhere but with us. And so ironically, like my parents were very like, yeah, we're atheists. And I would just be like, I don't know what I am. I've decided there's so many cool options.
I'm going to a synagogue tomorrow.
Yeah. You know, I think I'm just unhappy.
So, it was funny too because my mom had this ironic twist where anytime my mom saw me leaning towards religion, she would be all like, "We're atheists in this house."
It's the same. It's just a reskinned religious upbringing. Then at that point, that's what's so funny about it. Is like we're Christians in this house. It's like this is how Christians act. It's like what could you? I mean, you drifting. It's funny too because at least in Christianity, you're like, you might like want to hang out with your friends or have a sleepover. Where maybe it's a co-ed sleepover or like someone smoking a cigarette or it's like it's always actions. The funny thing about Christianity with kids is like there's a lot of actions that most people would prefer their children to avoid until they're a certain age, right? Like you don't want your 15-year-old trying cigarettes. So you hope that like maybe religion will convince them that, you know, if you push the hell message strong enough that they'll avoid shit like that. But at least like it's in the same vein as like like typical parenting where you're trying to figure out how to get your kids to avoid certain things. And maybe it's a win when they hate God instead of you, maybe later, but it's like I don't know. I just think the whole like the reaction to like you drifting towards something and there being like, we're atheists. This one, it's like because I thought about something different. I'm like, it's not like I'm not experimenting with any weird drugs. I'm not like that. You're getting. I don't know. That's so funny to me. That's a total flip to like my experience and the experience of like my peers growing up.
Oh yeah, well that was kind of the irony because I was doing a lot of drugs and I was like following bands around and hooking up with random people, and basically every time my parents saw me I'd be like, well, I don't know how long I'm gonna live, hopefully not long, right? Like
you really pushed the atheist thing so good that like I've drifted into nihilism, bitch.
And like I remember one day I tried to come out about being like into women as well as men, and I thought like, oh well, my parents are atheists, they'll be so cool about this. And so I casually was like, yeah, I'm dating a woman right now, she's really great, I want you to meet her. And my mom was just like, that is disgusting. And I just remember looking at her just like, oh my god, you need therapy, like something's not working here.
It's like the real like religion aside, the real boomer conviction and number one tool in the toolbox is like anxiety driven abstinence.
Yes. Never do anything.
Every belief like serves anxiety driven abstinence for your kids. That's what it comes down to.
Yes. Yeah, a lot of it.
That's...
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. My dad was more than happy to have me go out and get laid. He was my dad. I remember. Okay, so so my dad quit religion. Like basically, he clearly didn't give a crap about religion after he got back from Vietnam, if I had to guess.
Understandable.
But then to humor my grandma, he would take me to church.
It's hard to watch.
One day he's like, I'm never going.
Bayonets to their skull and be like, there is a God and he does love us.
he loves all of humanity. Yeah, that's how he came back. But I remember once I broke up with my first girlfriend.
Oh, yeah.
So I broke up with I have so many horrible stories. I broke up with my first girlfriend and I was in my room for like 3 days crying. And I finally come downstairs to have dinner. And it's meatloaf. And I see the meatloaf and I'm like, Janelle loved meatloaf. And I start crying. And I go back to my room, right? Because I'm like 16. I'm a Wiener. And I start running to my room and my dad stops me on the stairs for a good father-son talk. And he's like, Adam, I just want you to know, were you guys having a problem in your sex life? And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? He's like, your sex life, were you not doing it enough? I'm like, what? It's like, because sometimes you got to do it twice. You don't want to do it twice, but sometimes you got to just, after you do it once, you wait a while and do it twice. I'm like, fuck you.
Wow. That's progressive parenting.
Very sexual positive. Yeah.
Did he
she
talk
said
about
she
condoms,
didn't
though?
want sex. She wanted meatloaf.
She wanted meatloaf.
She wanted to watch me fuck the meatloaf. And that is
she
where
started
things went
dating a
south.
woman. She started dating another person, a woman. So that's why we broke up, but I couldn't tell my dad because then that would be a conversation. But yeah, no, he showed me how to put on a condom. He taught me how to put on a condom.
Go ahead and explain that a little more.
Old. It was 2 years after this conversation. Me, my brother, my 2 sisters, he sat us all around. I was the oldest one. I was about to go to college. And I'm like, I don't need to know this. I already know this. And he got out a vacuum cleaner extension and put it between his legs. And then he tried to put a condom on. And he couldn't put it on. And I had to reach over and turn the condom over so it was the right way on and slide the condom on my dad's vacuum cleaner penis. So
I love that there's this whole idea that you need to teach. Just talk to kids about condoms. You don't look. I was your quintessential straight-laced Christian boy. Casey and I both were. We did not have sex until we got married. And my first time trying to put on a condom was a major success. I mean, I nailed it. It was because you hear all these things. Oh, you got to show people, teach it in high school. It's like, shockingly, it's like a USB Like plug it in a USB. You do it wrong the first time. You flip it around, then it goes on. It's fine. It's.
I've never put one on, and I hope if I ever have to, that like my dad will be there to kind of like your first time swinging at a t-ball. You know, he kind of reaches around. You guys are both holding the bat. If I told my dad this, he would die.
Good thing he doesn't listen.
My parents' idea of sex education, and they literally would brag to people about this, is they bought 2 books about what sex is and how people have it, and then they gave them to me and said, if you have any questions, just read those books.
That is another parallel to Christianity. We were handed books about abstinence, though, where it's like a book gets like a crack appears in your door and a book gets like side chucked through. And the pages split open and it like whiffs through the air.
It's like a metal plate full of gruel in a prison. It's like the Count of Monte Cristo.
And it's a wonderful little book called I Kiss Dating Goodbye by Joshua Harris.
Yeah.
And it's about courtship and abstinence till marriage. And that guy also recanted everything he wrote, feels pretty bad about it. And he was a former guest on the podcast if anyone wants to listen to it. But that it's like you have a lot of funny parallels with Christianity despite it being an irreligious upbringing. Adam, your so you said your dad kind of quit religion, but you had also my understanding is that you did spend some time in church. What brought you there, and what was that experience for you like?
My grandma brought me there. Here's what it was like. First, it started with me. It would be the whole family would go. But then my dad and my mom didn't want to go anymore after my brother was born. They were too busy.
How old were you?
I was 4.
Okay.
And so my memories were of me being in the park that was across the street from my house, having a great time. And then my grandparents' car would pull up and I'd cry and they'd drag me to church. And then, and I hated it. And then after church, we'd have breakfast at a place. And I hated church until I think it was 3rd grade, when we started having religion class. So all the Catholics in my school, we all got to leave school 2 hours early on Wednesday to go to religion class.
CCD.
I loved it. It was never more fun. We abused those nuns terribly. Those poor women. It turns out all the worst kids in our school were all Catholics.
And that's the funny thing.
Go figure.
Yeah. All the parents are like,
eyes look up a nun's dress. That was fun.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we would just I spent a month, I think it was 5th grade, pretending to be an Italian exchange student every time. We would go, just like, hey, excuse. And this poor 90-year-old nun.
It's funny because they'll deal like church, like school is just like, if you start acting like a bitch, they like that. They're like, you have detention, get the fuck out of here. But like, you leave every Wednesday to act like an asshole, and they just have to like
deal with.
Yeah, she's just like,
the love of Christ be with you.
For that. Like, probably, I don't know. I was going here before this. Like, I was a horrible little boy. I was the worst.
But you passed CCD because they need to push you through the system. It's a lot like school.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you got to get those numbers.
Yeah. I mean, if you have people, but it is funny that the worst kids, because it's parents who are probably like around 1st grade, they're like, oh, fuck, we have one of the shitty ones. We should probably get into church and see if that can fix this.
That's probably it. Like, we'll put them in Catholic church. They're really bad. It's like, nah, it's just boring. Catholic church is boring. There's a lot of stand up, sit down. They stopped doing it in Latin.
Pull your pants down. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember going to church with my grandparents. My grandfather was like so important to him. He was the kind of Catholic where he had no like hobbies really, because he was so focused on just being a good person. So he was just like, when I'm not in church, I'm volunteering at the fire department, or I'm, getting involved in the community somehow and just trying to, not hate myself for existing. And so he took me to church, and I remember hating it, but also feeling like I should go because it was important to him, until one day when I found out that Catholics don't believe that pets go to heaven. I had one cat and no friends, and I remember weeping. I was weeping the whole car ride home, and I told my grandpa, I'm like, I cannot follow your God. If he cannot let me have my cat when I die, I can't do this. And after that, he very solemnly said that he didn't think I needed church anymore, and I could stay home while they went to church. And then I got to watch Jerry Springer.
He decided it was too late for you, huh?
I love that they draw the line, like the amount of kids who could have been saved from eternal damnation at 5 years old if they just were told they could have their pets come. Like, what's the word? They're gonna get it's heaven, right? They're gonna get there and be like, this place fucks, and they're not gonna miss their cat. They're just gonna know. They're like, if it's as good as they say it is, everyone's gonna love it, even if their pets aren't there. So just give them that peace on earth. And
could you imagine some 78-year-old man gets to heaven? He's like, "Where's my turtle Tony from when I was 5?
Where's Nancy?
Little Tony."
Well, and didn't Pope Francis change it now so you can bring pets? Where I'm like, you're lying to me.
Yeah, that's only Catholic.
Lying.
That's only Catholic.
Yeah.
But
only we get pets.
Only if you buy the Catholic Church approved cat carrier, though. Otherwise, you're
Right.
You got to get your cat baptized. Just dunk them in water.
It don't pay for itself. Come on.
If you
it's
it's
like indulgences, but like they no longer offer those for humans, but they just like blatantly start being like, well, how much do you love your dog? Can you write a check?
And that's funny. They draw the line at pets. Like it's something they have to come up with a theology for, right? So it's got to be something about the way that like the human and animal souls imprint on each other. Otherwise, it's like, because elephants sure as shit are gonna fucking be non-existent. And if it's not a pet, it can't make the cut. Because we all know there's only limited room in heaven. So. And the bigger animals are just intrusive. Like if it's already limited on space, so you can't let the big ones in.
I think he has a very boomer outlook on life, where it's like life that is not immediately useful or profitable to me is worthless. You know, that's how like boomers view nature in general. They're just like, if I can't squeeze some oil out of this tree trunk, then why have it? It's just blocking my view.
It's so true.
You're telling me if I level this forest, I can get a bigger boat? Yeah, I mean, I don't see the problem with that. That's
why would that be a problem?
The freedom of birds is an insult to me. I'd have them all in zoos.
They give you some spiel on how many pieces of paper you can get from like a redwood. They're like, do you even get it though? Like how many pieces, do you know how many reams you can get out of one redwood? And they act like that's like, it's a good exchange. You're like, that sounds fair.
Right? Like your mind blown.
It's pretty worthwhile when you look at it.
I'm just saying we could exploit this piece of innocence until it's rubble. I don't know what the problem is with that.
Or if you start to push back, they're like, oh, just think about how many paper straws you could make out of this, huh?
Yeah.
They owned me.
Now they got me. I'm sold. Love paper straws.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Paper straws are trash. They are actual trash.
Suck.
They're garbage.
I just don't like straws in general. I just skip straws whenever possible.
Yeah.
I appreciate the compromise of still giving us plastic cups, but giving us a little sipper out of them now at Starbucks.
Yes, that's the thing. Adults need to nut up and stop being such whiny babies and accept that we all like sippy cups.
Yes.
I want a sippy cup.
Yeah. Well, that's more that boomer bullshit where it's like, oh, you outgrew sippy cups. Like,
Grown-ups drink out of a mug.
My mouth still works the same fucking way. Give me a sippy cup.
They're like, this isn't a sippy cup, it's a flask. It's so different. They put a straw in their flask.
A sipper on my cup and feet on my sweatpants. Okay, so I have to ask. So a couple of nerds. I assume you guys are pretty steeped in like nerddom. What is like what's your chosen like fandom? What do you like the best?
I guess for me it would probably be Dungeons and Dragons, comic books, not comic book movies, comic books.
Yeah.
And then practical effect sci-fi, like old school Doctor Who.
Yeah, that's
7th season Doctor Who, where you can see the cardboard. Awesome.
I mean, I hate Doctor Who, but I get it. You know,
the appeal. It's like I feel like that is adjacent to like people who love old horror movies and how you can make like a scary, interesting movie on like a $300 budget.
Yeah, well, and it's fun to see like a lot of people worked on this. You know, like I mean, a lot of people work on the CGI shit, but you can't tell. There's not like a human factor that you see that acknowledges that.
Yeah,
it's so fun. And then plus when you're watching
ChatGPT makes pretty good movies now.
Okay, well no, they do. I have been watching their Seinfeld. ChatGPT knows what they're doing. Their Seinfeld
writers might want to get back to work soon because they don't have long anyway.
Well, did you hear that it's that AI is getting dumber though?
Because people
by association.
Yeah.
Well,
because it pulls from everything. So if people just keep feeding bullshit into the internet, it's just going to pull from that.
Well, it's starting to feedback loop on itself.
Oh,
because so now AI is learning from AI, and it's getting dumber and worse, and it's beginning to fail, and all the tech companies are starting to be like, yeah, it's kind of, you know, it is for a purpose. You know, when we said AI, we didn't really like. They're all starting to go back on because it was all the hype. It was like how the Tesla was going to change the world.
Yeah,
it sounds a lot like regular human intelligence, where you put a bunch of people in a room together and they just get dumber together as they feed back each other.
There you go.
Soon they're killing one member of the group.
Yeah, sacrificing the only virgin.
Could happen.
Yeah.
David taking, like, run him off the island, take his glasses, start fires.
Another day making a society.
So Casey, what's yours? Like chosen fandoms?
Dirty stuff.
Oh, right. I forgot what we were talking about. I would say I like comics and I like fantasy novels and like I love Dragon Age. Anything where like people can fuck weird species of shit. I love it. That's a vibe.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
That one's fun. I love
True
Buffy.
Blood. Were you a True Blood person? Were you True Blood?
I am not a True Blood person. I need it to be a little campy because I get scared. I'm a very delicate person. I sometimes get faint when I hear the sound of them, like when they bite and suck blood, and then Adam has to like fast forward because I'm like, so I need some jokey jokes to remind me that I'm safe.
Angel's too scary.
Angel's too scary. Everyone gets sad. It's very sad. Buffy's sad, but also badly written, so I feel safe.
Yeah.
And I love bad writing. That's probably like my biggest passion. I love really, really shitty bad movies.
Yeah, if both of us had a similar, it would be really shitty bad movies.
Okay.
Ooh.
Top three.
Really like
Neil Breen fans? Neil Breen?
What?
You guys Neil Breen fans?
I don't know who Neil Breen is.
Oh,
what's
never
he
mind.
do?
I'll send you some links.
Please do. Please do. I mean, I'm talking like junior high spy level shit. Have you ever seen that nightmare?
No.
I haven't. It feels spy-cheesy.
So we stumbled across it on Redbox outside of Safeway in California. And
Name drop.
I know, don't want to brag. I forgot that Safeway's not out here. So we get it at Redbox, we turn it on, and it literally is like, it's like if a kid's dad had way too much money and could film it like it was a production. But
like the Rebecca Black video.
But like a lower budget and stretched out between 2 hours.
Yeah, like he had the money for all the equipment, But then when it came to the sets, he was like, whoa, Billy, I don't have that kind of money, you know? Like,
Junior High Spy is good. It's up there with what? A Talking Cat?
Oh, What a Talking Cat is a mind blower. You want to kill yourself, you put on What the Talking Cat and you'll get it done.
Yeah.
You'll do it.
It's bad.
It's horrible. Please don't kill yourself if anyone's listening.
Yeah, turn off What a Talking Cat.
I need to ask now then, because I don't watch. I watch the whole let's watch terrible movies things was for, I did that a little bit more in college, in like just post college. But one of the ones that sticks out to me, and I haven't really met another person who's ever seen it. It's called N3rds. Have you watched N3rds?
Monsters.
Is it a Japanese one?
It's not monster in the past tense, like monstered, like you got monstered. It's monstered, like TURD.
Oh no, I haven't seen it.
Okay,
I would remember.
Yeah, I would remember that too.
It's unbelievably horrible. It was on Netflix when Netflix started streaming services and was desperate for content. I'd be surprised if it was still there. And now that they took away the DVD option, you'll never find it. But it
right?
was,
I'm writing this down. I'm like, I need to find a pen.
Yeah.
Get me a pen.
This is it might be. I don't even think I finished it. It was like, this is funny for like 40 minutes, and then you're like, it passed. Moment passed. Let's just go to bed. Like
It's the best ones.
Yeah.
Killer Bong, Killer Mattress.
Yeah.
There you go.
And to give you an idea of how bad the movies are that I like, when I first found Junior High Spy, I insisted on all of my friends doing a viewing. And then at my birthday party, I insisted we watch it again. And so, that night, somebody stole the DVD.
Somebody stole it.
Not to watch, just to dispose.
Yeah.
This was enough for somebody. But joke's on them. We bought 2 more copies.
Uh-huh.
Toss it into the fiery chasm from which it came.
You put GPS trackers on your 2 new copies, so that way, like, you invite people over again. You're like, who wants to watch? Come over. We're going to watch this movie again. And then you're just like getting ready to bust them.
Yeah.
Gotcha, bitch.
Dude, there is something especially fun, like when you have a bunch of people over putting on a movie like that.
Yeah.
Is so much fun.
Maybe the problem is I don't have enough friends to do stuff with anymore. I think that locally.
Oh, I don't either. Yeah, they're gone now.
It's tough.
Junior High Spy saw to that.
Yeah.
No, but I think bad movies, I think one of the big loves I have of bad movies, besides the practical special effects, and when I say practical special effects, I'm not talking Werewolf in London.
No.
I want bad practical special effects. I do want to be able to see the guy inside the costume when I look in the eyes.
Yes.
Right? But I think the thing I like the most about it is I don't need to pay any attention.
Yes.
It's very relaxing. I can do other stuff.
Yes.
And I don't miss anything. Like, you don't need to watch all of Hell Comes to Frogtown to know what's going down.
Nope.
Oh, man.
It's funny because everyone's problem now is like any millennial, whatever, they're like, they watch shit all the time, and but they like were on their phone, so you rewind and you missed a part. But that's the shit where you're like, it's all at the same time, baby, and you don't have to go back. You can move on with your life.
Exactly.
I'm inundating myself with entertainment from all sides. I'm giving myself ADHD. And this is so I'm in school, and I find this like people who have ADHD talk about their experience with ADHD, and I'm like, I don't have it, but I think I just ruined my brain at this point, because I'm like, after 10 seconds of reading an article, I'm like a journal article, I'm like, fuck, I'm bored, and I pull out my phone, and it's like, that's not actual like ADHD. It's just like, it's just being 35, and I've had a phone since I was 25 and a smartphone since I was like 23, and you're just like, no, I've just ruined my brain. My adult brain is worse than my young brain, and I have to figure out how to navigate life with that being the case now.
See, I would disagree, only because 99% of the time I'm like that. I start reading something and I'm like, wow, this is so boring. Or someone's talking to me and I'm like, oh my God, blah, 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 turn on my phone.
Hence why you don't know any of the trivia questions on your show.
Yes, yes. But if I open a book and it's like a steamy sex scene between a fairy and a goblin, suddenly I am captivated for 2 hours. You know, I think what it is we're all just so goddamn bored. Like, we don't get to have the money to like do what our parents did and be like, hey, I just got really depressed and bought a sports car. Yeah. So we're not doing any of that crap that kept them from needing to just constantly feed themselves media to feel something. Mm-hmm. And like, we can't go out drinking and partying the way they used to, because I remember the number of nights that all the parents are like, we're just gonna go out and have dinner, you know? That doesn't happen anymore. So now I'm like, I just want to feel something. And if that means that I'm putting down this article that's telling me how bad everything is so that I can learn who Daisy De La Hoya is dating right now, I'm gonna freaking do it.
It's because our parents, it's like there was a generation of people where if they got caught drinking while driving, the cop just drove them home. We're past that.
Yeah.
That's some like Barney Fife shit. You're like,
dude, so there's a couple of podcasters that we're friends with. They have a show called Boys Bible Study. And I wasn't aware of it, but there is gotta be hundreds, maybe thousands of like self-produced or small studio Christian movies that you guys would probably love. Lots of rapture movies, lots of oh man, they're like, my wife and I recently watched it. There's a two movie pair that is about a group of high school kids that gets into parkour, but also Christianity, and then the rapture happens. And so like they're parkouring away from the Antichrist and like the government.
What's the name of this movie? I want to see this movie.
I think it's called Leap.
Ooh, Leap. Okay, Parkour for Christ. Where'd the pen go? Panic.
That sounds like it's up there with Jim Cotta. So I definitely have to.
There's also that Casey. What's the name of the family that does like a movie every like 2 months?
Oh, it's yeah. God, I can't think of the name of them, but yeah, because they had one about like Bigfoot. Yeah, it was like the town sheriff finds Christ and also finds Bigfoot, and
they were hanging out together.
Oh my God! Where are these streaming? Is there like?
Oh, you can just watch them on YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first one is called Leap. The second one is called Leap: Rise of the Beast. And the parkour is, it's a lot of people hopping over fence rails. Yeah. It's most of the parkour in it.
It's like that scene from The Office, and that's as good as it gets.
It really is.
Parkour.
Yeah.
I dated a lot of dudes into parkour when I was in high school, and yeah, it's definitely a sport that is intended for people who would make great like pastors for teens. Yeah. That was always their energy of like just like
high energy.
Yeah, and turning the chair around, and they always had to sit some way dumb, like they were all trying to sit like Aladdin, like the street rat all the time.
These always in your hair before they talk to you, like
street rat.
Oh no, for me they were just like, hold my jacket, and then they jump off some shit, and I'm just like, that's great.
But given the choice the choice that they made between becoming a parkour artist and a Christian, like a white rapper, I think parkour is the lesser of two evils.
Probably.
Only if you're not an ironic white rapper. Like, I really like it when, they get into being like that one guy you showed me who's like a forest ranger costume.
Rough.
Yeah, that's Probably fun. Good. I don't like it when it's like, maybe I'm stealing from another culture where it's like, no, we don't have to do that. You can rap and also just be white and lame. That's fine. Macklemore did it for a while, and that was when he was great.
Macklemore did it for
He inspired like 10 years of douchey haircuts.
Yeah. I had my hair so high up, and then I was like, wait a minute, this is just Vanilla Ice.
Yes,
He had the
it's
same haircut.
modern day Vanilla Ice. That's funny. Everything comes full circles. The 90s are back. We're all fucked.
Yeah. Well, see, that's my problem is I have like a fetish for people who live in satire, but that just means I tend to be attracted to assholes.
Yeah.
Because they're just genuinely being jokes and people.
Like the Jonah Hills and shit like that.
Oh,
They become caricatures of themselves.
Did you see, speaking of Jonah, did you see the text that Jonah Hill had with his girlfriend while they were both at the table together?
Is that the one?
I don't know if I saw that specific one.
No,
is it
so
like the texts?
Well, there were the texts that he's like, I don't want you wearing a bikini anymore. That was
I know that. Okay.
So this text chain was them sitting at a restaurant together. And she texts him and is like, hey, it's nice for you to take me out to this restaurant just so you could be on your phone the whole time. And he writes back, like, stop being so passive aggressive. And then it turns out, apparently, Jonah Hill has a slumber party at, what's the guy from Malcolm in the Middle?
Oh, Frankie Muniz.
Frankie Muniz?
He goes to Frankie Muniz's house once a week.
The race car driver?
For the race car
driver.
That's what she says. And he has a slumber party at his house once a week minimum, and it's sometimes twice a week. And her texts are just like, you really feel for her because she's just like, you're a 45-year-old man. You can't just hang out at a buddy's house anymore for adults. Like, you can't just go there and spend the night. Like, what's wrong with that? Just because I want to hang out with my friend Frankie for the night. It's like, and this is a text through dinner at an expensive restaurant. It's just
why don't
amazing.
you go, Frankie, go play some more like Naked Leapfrog and GoldenEye?
Well, hey,
I just like that they're friends. I didn't know they were friends, and that is cool to me.
Who knew?
That is not the type of friendship that you would. It just doesn't. I wouldn't guess that.
I also wouldn't guess that, like, because I have very, very close friends, but I've never wanted to spend the night at my friend's house, especially more than once a month after the age of 40.
I don't want to stay at anybody's house.
Because when you do, like, it's someone who doesn't live near you, and you go there for the weekend. You do a visit, or if it's like the occasional, you drink a lot, and you're like, I should probably just ride this one out on the couch, and then you wake up the next day, and you're like, what am I? What? I guess I'll just leave. You leave like it was like a bad Tinder date. You're like, you get up at like 5 with the sun, and you're like, I'm just gonna grab my things and go. Like,
yeah.
You part their couch cushions, and you just puke feta right into the crack.
Shout out to my buddy who actually did puke face first into one of my couch cushions at one point.
That's what I was thinking of.
I'm so sorry. No. That's horrible.
It was. We bought a brand new couch. It was less than 6 months into it. We went out. He had like a new medication, and it didn't work well with drinking apparently. And I had to like walk him into my house. He laid him down on the couch. He spent the night that night, and it was like, but yeah, he just wakes up in like that drunken panic. We're like flailing, making sounds, and I was like, it's like when you're a kid, you run to grab the barf bowl. Everyone has the barf bowl. It's usually the one you put like salad in or mixed brownie batter in, or some shit like bowl. That. Yeah, it's like always, yeah.
Yeah, and bucket,
I just didn't get there in time, and he like face into the cushion. And it spreads out around his face and shit. It was an absolute night. I was washing that couch cushion in the bathtub for like 45 minutes, just scraping chunks off it.
Oh my god,
dude! That reminds me
of a great friend of mine.
It happened.
Yeah, it happened.
It reminds me of my 22nd birthday. My friends, on my 22nd birthday, my friends were all like, you're going to do 22 shots tonight because we want to kill you, right? And so I was like, let's do it. If you're paying, let's kill me. And so we went to the bar, went to a series of bars, and I was doing shots. And the deal was the only chaser I was allowed was beer. So I had to drink beer while I was doing my shots. And then I got bad drunk, right? I went missing for a while. They had to find me. They finally bring me home. I don't remember anything. But I woke up in the morning and my room stunk. And I didn't care. I just went downstairs. I just nursed my hangover. We went to a party that night. I didn't go back to my room. I come back. When I go back to the room, I am again drunk. I pass out. I wake up in the morning. My room stinks. In a corner, I find all of my sheets. This is or all my blankets and everything. And this is when I realized I don't have any blankets on my bed. There's no sheets or blankets. They're covered in puke. I bury them. Like I like put them in a garbage bag and I throw them into the woods. No, I put them in the garbage. And then we go out and I drink because it's college. And I go out and we drink. We have fun. And then the next day, again, same situation. I wake up, my room stinks. That's when I fucking realized there were sheets on my bed. They were just underneath the bed, like the whole mattress had been flipped over. And then I open it up and it's just a puke sandwich. And I had to throw away my mattress, the box spring. There was no coming back. I slept on couch cushions for the rest of the year. And that was October.
Just the world's worst panini under there.
Yeah, it was a very sexy senior year for me with that bed.
Oh my god,
oh, man,
that's great.
Well, can you tell people a little bit about your show?
Hell yeah!
Yeah. Which the live one or the trivia one? Which or the podcast one?
Well, start with the one accessible to the world, and then we can move in from there.
Okay.
Well, the podcast every week we have celebrities from.
Sometimes, like sometimes. we have no interesting people. We have interesting people come on, and we play trivia with them. Adam asks me and the guest questions. I barely listen. Sometimes I don't listen at all.
We make jokes, and then Casey gives some interviews.
Yeah, we interview our guests. We've had some really cool guests. We've had some the folks from like VH1's Of Love reality series. We've had like some Broadway actors. We're gonna have Lolo Pritchard coming on soon. She worked with Panic at the Disco on Miss Jackson.
We have a lot of the actors from Passions on the show too. So an
episode with James Hyde, who plays Sam Bennett, the chief of police in the town of Harmony in Passions. I'm very excited.
The town of Harmony.
We always get some weird stuff, like the Mustache Rangers are going to be on there.
Oh, they're cool. They're like they're like 10 years ago they did improv in Minneapolis, I think. And they are just hilarious, so we're excited to have them on for sure.
So it's just always a bucket of weirdness, weird guests, weird questions, mostly just us making jokes, and then insane sound effects.
Oh, and some trauma dumping. Every once in a while, some of the guests mesh well with my need to just talk about trauma, and then we just go on and on.
I love it. I love what made me, I was like, listening to it, it was like I said, found you through Amy. So when she posted the episode, that's when I checked it out. Listened to some episodes after that. The high energy of it and the banter is what was very appealing to me, which is what made me want to reach out to you guys. So it's fun. Everyone should definitely give it a listen. A couple of nerds. It's a good time.
Please listen and 5-star reviews, all 5 stars.
Yeah, you don't have to listen if you just leave a 5-star review.
Unless it's Spotify. Spotify makes you listen to 5 fucking episodes before they let you give it a review.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're sticklers.
Technically what they're doing is a good thing.
Yes.
Because I tried giving my podcast a 5-star review, and I apparently had listened to less than 5 episodes.
We both passed the same litmus test.
That's right. You gotta listen to yourself while you're in the shower. Get real weird with it.
Yeah. I just jerk off and listen to my podcast.
But like,
I hate the way I sound.
Yeah.
Why do I say you know so much?
Why do you know? Okay, if we're gonna be honest about it, why do I say for sure so much? Boom.
For sure.
For sure. Oh, fuck.
It's, I feel like you get to a point where you just have to forgive yourself for your signature bullshit moves. Like, one of my friends calls me out on it all the time. I do the cliche thing where I'm bored of someone talking and I just go, that's crazy.
I edit those out.
Yes.
Casey, you got to start editing out some of my for sure's.
And one day I said that to her and she just starts laughing hysterically and she was like, you have no fucking idea what I said. And I was just like,
And for anyone in the Buffalo, you guys, it's Buffalo, right?
That's
Yes.
us.
Okay. I feel like you probably would have corrected me if I got it wrong earlier, but maybe you were just letting it ride out until you could fix it later. But Buffalo. So the Buffalo area, you mentioned you have 2 shows you do
Yes.
weekly and bi-weekly, which is a lot. You guys are busy.
Yeah.
Pretty busy.
Yeah.
We're looking at getting another show pretty soon, but yeah, we
Wednesdays at
Wednesdays at
the
the
Spotlight.
Spotlight.
We say it starts at 6. It really starts at 6:30. And then Thursdays, 2nd and 4th Thursdays of every month, we are at the Roaring 420s Club in Cheektowaga. And yeah, we do private events, and we also are looking at expanding to a couple more breweries. So we will see. Hopefully, no one will Google us.
Yeah,
And then-
don't Google it.
I swear, as soon as they find our old YouTube stuff, whenever anyone
Never
says,
thought.
so I found your YouTube channel, I'm like, oh, well,
And I'll take my severance package.
see you later.
Well, man, it's been great having you guys on. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, this was a blast.
so fun.
Thank you so much.
What's the best place for people to find you?
Oh man, Instagram, we're at a couple of nerds. Nerds has a 3 for an E and everything. We're on Facebook, a couple of nerds. We also have our own website, a couple of nerds.com. You can keep up with what we're doing there. We've got an events page that I'll update eventually. And yeah, our podcast is available where podcasts are. And you can also like high five us if you see us. We're super chill. Except for my kid, he's 3.5. He might be a dick. It's fine.
And you're raising him Christian, right? Or her.
Just him. We
not-
don't practice, but he's got to go to church.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
I like make it up as I go because I don't like remember any of the rules. So I'm like, oh, God hates fruit roll-ups on Thursdays.
Yeah.
Like
It's like we only eat you can't eat meat except for Friday. Was it? I don't know. They do like fish on Fridays because they pretend like
there
fish
you
is
go,
meat,
the fish
and
fry.
You're like we only
Yeah.
eat fruit roll. I love what you're doing. I love the twist on that. You guys are gonna do great. The kid's gonna turn out super normal.
Yeah.
You know-
Someday you're gonna grow up, little fella, and you're gonna murder your way to Jerusalem.
Your son's gonna slap a fruit. Your son's gonna slap a fruit roll up out of somebody's hand in kindergarten and be like, "We only eat fruit roll ups on Thursdays."
I'm in for it. I want to have that conversation with his teacher.
Well-
I do have a full confession. I do have a giant blanket tapestry behind our bed of the Virgin Mary.
Well, that is true.
So I do know for sure because I just it's pretty and I like it. But I like that my kid's gonna grow up super confused. He's gonna have no idea what's happening.
That's what we're going for.
Well, we'll keep this going for the next 15 years, and then we'll have your kid on the podcast and see how that goes.
He can trauma dump.
Please, I'm sure he'll be looking for work, so please do.
Yes.
Have him on the show.
Yes.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks for listening, and we will see you next time.